Now, the government is expected to announce a ban on junk food advertising before the television watershed. Prime Minister Boris Johnson previously criticised moves such as the sugar tax, but it is understood his personal experience with coronavirus has changed his opinion. Well, according to the latest NHS figures, nearly two-thirds of adults in England are overweight or obese. Before coronavirus, obesity was a factor in nearly 900,000 hospital admissions per year. 1 in 5 children in Year 6 are obese. That's children aged 10 to 11, and that's concentrated in the most deprived areas. And less than half of children and young people do enough physical activity. That's according to government guidelines. Well, let's speak to Sarah Le Brocq, the Director of Obesity UK. Really warm welcome to the programme. Look, presumably from your point of view, any move has to be a good move, but how much difference is a ban on these adverts really going to make?
Yeah, like you said, I think any change to the obesogenic environment that we live in is a positive one. So, we welcome that. But it's not actually going to make much of a difference to people living with obesity right now. And it's really a preventative measure. It's not an actual treatment measure. So with our members, so I represent people living with obesity. We have over 20,000 members. And what we find is that these people living with obesity just want support. We want access to treatment, and we want to feel like there is somewhere we can go. And right now that we just don't have access to those opportunities, really. So what we were hoping, and we're still to see, there could be other measures coming through, but we want to see more support for people living with obesity and more access to treatment, really.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because, of course, the Prime Minister, having had this brush with death through coronavirus, and, of course, himself being, if I may say, a little bit on the portly side, he said he's lost over a stone in weight, but it seems to have brought his focus in sharply on this particular issue, doesn't it? And in the past, he's very much said he's not into the nanny state, but now it seems as though it is actually affecting party policy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we need to kind of take him back to how he felt when he was kind of first coming out of hospital and with the COVID situation, because I think he was looking at things very differently. And I'd like to kind of hope he would look at the kind of aspect of, well, so how do we support people living with the condition at the moment? Because I think that's what gets missed. We focus too much on kind of childhood obesity and preventative measures, which are obviously hugely important. But we need to kind of realise that there's two-thirds of the population are living with overweight and obesity right now. So what are we doing to support those people rather than just focusing on the future generation and what we can do to help them? We need to work on how we can help people right now.
What sort of support are you talking about specifically? Because a lot of people would say this is one of the easiest health problems to tackle. Eat less, move more.
Yeah, I mean, that's the messaging that we've been told for such a long time. So what I mean by support is a multidisciplinary approach. So we need to look at psychological support. We need to look at bariatric support. So kind of surgery further down the line will be right for some people. We need to look at nutritional advice. We need to look at pharmaceutical interventions. There's lots of different ways that we can support people, and there isn't a one-size-fits-all. So we kind of need a toolbox so people can go into that toolbox and take out what might work for them. But right now, we haven't really got the opportunity to take anything out of the toolbox because the toolbox is empty, and that's what needs to change.
And of course, nothing but positives to come out of that, because we know that pre-COVID, obesity was a factor in 900,000 hospital admissions. So if we can find ways of helping adults, as you say, to lose weight, the NHS is also protected, particularly as it's facing an extra burden from COVID-19.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about kind of looking at measures where we can help people live a healthier life. So, we focus on weight loss a lot, but actually the data shows us that 95% of people that lose weight will put it on again after 5 years. So it's not just about the focus on weight loss, it's about just being healthier and making healthier choices. And so therefore we need to look at kind of that aspect as well. So by having this kind of toolbox of psychological support or surgical support, it just kind of helps us to kind of offer that advice to people or that opportunity for people to do something differently.
OK, Sarah Le Brocq, the Director of Obesity UK. Really interesting to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed.